She can't even read the menu." The voice was loud, smug, and echoed through the marble-floored dining hall of the prestigious Le Chateau Blouin elite French restaurant tucked in the wealthiest part of the city. Every eye turned toward the source, a middle-aged white man in an expensive tailored suit, laughing loudly with a group of similarly dressed individuals. Their table was surrounded by opulence crystal glasses, gold-plated utensils, and rare bottles of wine that cost more than most people made in a month. The object of their mockery, a young black waitress named Maya, who stood beside their table with a calm expression, not flinching even slightly at the insult hurled her way. "She can't even pronounce Coquille's Saint-Jacques." The man sneered again, making sure the entire restaurant could hear. "What's next? She's going to recommend a fine vintage by calling it red wine?" His entourage chuckled, clearly entertained by the attempt to embarrass the young woman. But Maya's face remained composed, her hands steady, her notepad untouched. This wasn't the first time she had been underestimated, but this moment would be one of the most unforgettable. What the man didn't know, what most people didn't bother to learn, was that Maya wasn't just a waitress. She was a graduate of the Sorbonne, fluent in 5 languages, including French. She had worked in Paris for years before returning home to support her ailing mother. Taking a job at Le Chateau Bleu had been temporary until her mother recovered. She had quickly become one of the restaurant's most valued staff members. The owner, a retired French chef with Michelin stars under his belt, had hired her on the spot after hearing her pronounce bouillabaisse, the Marseille accent. But none of that mattered to the man before her, because all he saw was a black woman in a waitress uniform. "I'd be more comfortable if someone else took our order," the man added, waving his hand dismissively. "Preferably someone who's actually been to France." Maya finally smiled, a soft, polite smile that barely hinted at what was coming. "In that case, Monsieur," she began, switching effortlessly to fluent, elegant French, "may I suggest the Chateauneuf du Pape 2012 to accompany your Magratte Canard? Out the richness of the duck while complementing the red fruit notes in the sauce." The man blinked. She continued, not breaking stride. "Alternative un si vous préférez quelque chose de plus léger. Je peux vous recommander un sans air blanc. Ideal pour nettoyer le palais entre les plats." His mouth opened, then shut again. His eyes darted around the table, searching for anyone to confirm what he was hearing. But his companions were equally stunned, their laughter silenced. One of the women, younger and wearing a designer dress, muttered under her breath, "Wait, did she just say Sancerre?" Maya leaned in slightly, her tone still perfectly polite, but edged with quiet power. "I studied French cuisine in Paris for 4 years, monsieur. And I assure you, I can not only pronounce the menu items, I've tasted every one." A hush fell over the table. The billionaire sat back, his face now flushed not from wine, but from embarrassment. For the first time, his smirk vanished. He reached for his water glass, cleared his throat, and tried to salvage what dignity he had left. "Well, I suppose we'll start with the escargots." "Tiers bon choix," Maya replied, her voice musical and confident. She wrote it down, still in French, then addressed the rest of the table in the same flowing language, helping each person choose their meal with precise, formed recommendations. By the time she walked away, the entire dynamic had shifted. The snickering group was quiet, and every table in the vicinity was watching her not with mockery, but with awe. In the kitchen, the head chef gave her a thumbs up. He had heard the entire exchange. "What did I tell you?" he whispered. "Of the best in the business?" Maya smiled again, but this time to herself. She didn't need applause or validation. She knew who she was. She had worked hard for her knowledge. Her skin, her job title, her accent, none of those changed the fact that she was a professional. She was done dimming her light to make others feel comfortable. That evening, as the restaurant emptied out, the billionaire came up quietly to the front counter where Maya was closing out checks. "Listen," he began awkwardly, rubbing the back of his neck. "I was out of line earlier." She looked up, but said nothing. He cleared his throat. "Clearly know your stuff. Better than me, that's for sure." Maya nodded just once. Enjoy the rest of your evening, monsieur. And that was it. No gloating, no rubbing it in. Just professionalism with grace. But as he walked out the door, the billionaire turned back for one last glance. There was something in his eyes, a trace of humility he hadn't walked in with, and every server, every cook, and every customer who had witnessed the moment understood something. Ignorance might laugh the loudest, but it never wins in the end, because when the time comes, truth doesn't need to shout. It simply speaks in perfect French.